Ever bought a gadget that promised to change your life, but the only thing it changed was your mood when it broke after a week? Like that fancy blender that struggled with ice. Which can help avoid those mishaps. Right now, get a digital annual subscription for half the price, just £39.50 for the whole year. That's less than 80p a week, cheaper than that daily coffee habit. Which offers expert, independent reviews on everything from kitchen appliances and cars to mattresses and TVs. Every product is purchased and rigorously tested in the lab to provide honest verdicts, so no more regrettable purchases. Enjoy access to the Which app, the Ask Which service for personalised buying advice, and the 11 digital editions of Which magazine throughout the year. Half price, expert advice, and no buyer's remorse. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Head to which.co.uk/podcast offer to get a digital annual subscription for just £39.50. Offer ends 12th of March.
Hello and welcome to Which Shorts. I'm James Rowe and I'm here every Wednesday to give you some really useful everyday advice for free. Each week I flick through the Which magazines, choose a piece that was written by one of our brilliant journalists, and then I bring it to life. This week we're exploring the truth about painkillers. In the March edition of Which magazine, Sarah Sparrow revealed how to get the best pain relief, the limitations of some drugs, and when to pay more for medicine. Here's Sarah's piece, adapted for the podcast, this week read by John Weeks.
When you get a headache, an achy neck, or perhaps stomach pains, how quickly are you likely to reach for painkillers? Well, collectively in the UK, we spend more than £538 million a year on over-the-counter adult painkillers. And the top two we use? You guessed it, paracetamol and ibuprofen. But are we using them in the right way to tackle the right problems? And which one is best? Well, here's a head-to-head to find out. How do they work? Well, nobody really knows exactly how paracetamol works, but the NHS says it seems to work by blocking chemical messengers in the brain that tell your body that you have pain. Ibuprofen, on the other hand, is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug and works by reducing hormones that cause pain and swelling in the body, and also works on fevers. What are they best for? Paracetamol is most effective for treating fever and for short-lived mild to moderate pains, including headaches, period pain, and stomach aches. Ibuprofen is most effective for muscular pain, such as sprains and strains, joint aches, such as neck, shoulder, and knee pain, period pain, and arthritis. How quickly do they get to work? Paracetamol can take up to an hour to work. There's some evidence that taking caffeine with paracetamol speeds up digestion and therefore affects how quickly it starts working. As for ibuprofen, it takes around half an hour to work if taken orally, but ibuprofen lysine and liquid forms can work faster. If you're using a gel on your skin, it takes 1 to 2 days to work. How effective is it, and what is the best dose? Paracetamol works for some, approximately 30% of people, but not everyone. Adults can take up to 8 500mg tablets in 24 hours, spaced 4 to 6 hours apart. It's less effective for chronic pain such as persistent lower back pain and arthritis. Studies have found ibuprofen to be more effective than paracetamol and is helpful for about 45% of people. Dosage is usually 1 or 2 200mg tablets taken 3 times a day. However, if used long-term, it can cause stomach ulcers and bleeding. What are the potential hazards to consider? Well, despite being a common drug, don't be complacent with paracetamol, as an overdose can be fatal. Don't mix with other pain relief or cold and flu meds that also contain paracetamol, and don't mix with excessive alcohol. Ibuprofen can't be taken if you're pregnant or allergic to non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. There are several conditions, including stomach ulcers, asthma, and more, which may mean it's unsuitable. Now, picture the painkillers section in your local supermarkets, and plenty of different variations and brands will come to mind. And the price difference between generic painkillers and the big brands can be substantial. But while some of that is down to what's actually in the product, most of it is just marketing. With paracetamol, experts say that different formulations are unlikely to significantly impact effectiveness, although caffeine can give it a boost. You might find it more convenient to opt for one with added caffeine, or just take it with tea or coffee if you're already a regular drinker. Ibuprofen is more complicated, and certain formulations can work more quickly, as previously mentioned. Don't be led by branding claims alone. Check the ingredients on the back of a pack before buying. Look for liquid, sodium, and lysine formulations of ibuprofen, which can boost its painkilling effect. Painkillers are generally designed to be used short-term. However, for chronic pain, defined as pain lasting 12 weeks or more, the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence doesn't recommend them. Dr. Andrew Moore, leading pain specialist and a former Oxford University senior fellow, says there are very few chronic pain conditions where people should be treating themselves. And it turns out there are a lot of people in that camp. In a survey of 1,220 Which members in October 2024, almost a quarter said they currently experience chronic pain, with just under half saying they take regular painkillers to treat it. Chronic pain needs to be handled differently from acute pain though, because it doesn't typically resolve with painkillers and needs a broader approach to management. Enter Dr. Kathy Price, consultant in pain medicine at Southampton Solent NHS Trust and spokesperson for the British Pain Society. She says the hardest thing about long-term pain is accepting that sometimes we can't fix it, and the longer pain goes on, the less likely painkillers are to work, and the more likely they are to cause harmful side effects. She recommends that people look at managing chronic pain holistically. Kathy says it's one of the hardest things to do, but shifting your mindset away from being fearful and anxious about the pain towards trying to normalize it is your best chance of success. Pain is our body's threat messenger, so encourage your brain to de-escalate the threat. Try not to push through and pretend it's not there, but don't get so fearful that you do nothing at all. Everyone is different, so it's worth experimenting with lifestyle changes to see what works for you. We asked Which members what helps them, and here's what they said. 8 in 10 of those surveyed used movement and exercise to keep on top of pain. And it's backed by science. It's a key recommended way to manage pain. Members mentioned doing things like Pilates, stretching, walking, and swimming. A quarter of those surveyed used hot or cold compresses. It's a simple but effective and relatively cheap option, and you can buy reusable and flexible hot and cold packs for this exact use. Nearly 1 in 5 of those surveyed attended a pain management course. Your GP should be able to refer you to a local or online program, such as Escape Pain. That's a scheme supported by the NHS and Versus Arthritis, which focuses on knee and back pain. Practicing mindfulness or meditation can help you come to terms with your pain and manage its impact on your mood too. It won't get rid of it, but it may help you to focus on it less. And finally, alternative and holistic remedies. Physiotherapy, TENS machines, osteopathy, acupuncture, reflexology, and regular hot baths are just some of the alternative remedies which members have tried that have worked for them.
Thanks to John Weeks for reading that piece, originally written by Sarah Sparry and published in the March edition of Which magazine. You can read it in full if you're a Which member, but if you're not, there's a link in the show notes for you to find out how to join, with an excellent offer for podcast listeners to join at 50% off the usual price. A full Which membership gets you access to all of our product reviews, the Which app, the Ask Which service for personalised buying advice, and of course every edition of Which magazine across the year delivered to your door. We'll be back again next week for another episode of Which Shorts, but don't forget that if it's financial news you're after, Lucia Ariano will be here for you on Friday with Which Money. Which Shorts was produced by me, James Rowe, produced and edited by John Weeks, while the exec producer was Samara McCarrath.
Every year, Which tests thousands of the products that you rely on every day. And we've been doing it for over 60 years.
Which reviews are 100% impartial. We don't accept freebies from manufacturers, and we have no owners, shareholders, or government departments to answer to. So our work is on behalf of you, the consumer.
In a world of misleading claims and fake reviews, we test everything, from everyday items to big purchases, so that you don't have to.
We then put them through tests and assessments that go beyond the accepted standard to work out how well these products work for you and what's not worth your money. And a Which membership not only gets you access to our reviews, it also funds our non-profit campaigning work, like getting scam ads banned on social media and ending broadband and mobile mid-contract price hikes. And right now, podcast listeners can become a Which member for 50% off the usual price by heading to which.co.uk/podcast offer.